I was the first one on YouTube to make a long series about the Illuminati where I started talking about the connection, the philosophy, and where they got it from, being black people. You'll see individual lectures that talk about this that probably even came before I was born. But I'm the first one that made a long series about philosophy that drives the Illuminati, where the secret societies got their knowledge from, etc. And I'm appalled to see that a lot of white conspiracy theorists either avoid that or they twist it and pretend like this is something that white people did long ago, and it starts with Sumer. Sumerians were just another grouping of people. Symbols predate writing. Okay, letters are symbols, and the first symbols are found in African artifacts. Okay, so to say that the writing system comes from Sumer isn't entirely true. And then we look at Sumer as it's just another group of people like the Nubians or Scythians or any other, you name them, Ubadians and so on and so forth. There are a lot of them in history. Okay, why would they be called a civilization? Well, the reason why I say Egypt is the first textbook civilization is because of massive pyramids that say it took control and a concerted effort and power to do this. Nothing in Sumer says it took control, a concerted effort that is beyond just a group of people to do what they've done. Nothing says that. You see a lot of astrological artifacts, with all over the world. You see a lot of, different forms of communication and artifacts all over the world. You see a lot of religions and, different ways to gather food and, and so on. So what did they really do that you can truly credit them with that makes them a civilization? The answer is nothing.
Okay, a few deities are important, Molech and Baal, and I'll get into them later. Also, Osiris, Horus, and Amun-Ra. Now, whites long ago, the Greeks specifically, used to go to Egypt and learn, including Herodotus. They used to travel down the rivers, the many rivers they have there, and they would get as far as they could inland, and they would notice as much as they could, and they would learn from them.
They would learn from them. Until I start Illuminati Part 1, where at the beginning...
make it such importance to them that people put their sources in the back of their book. Well, the original plagiarism has been done by you, Mr. White. And a lot of the reason why it was more celebrated than, say, groups like the Mongols, even though Mongols had a bigger empire, is because these are white guys. And the main reason they're getting credit for it is ideas that they have stolen from the Egyptians. And it is quite sad that the white people have stooped so low as to steal ideas and not give credit to the rightful person. And then they turn around and make it such importance to them that people put their sources in the back of their book. Well, the original plagiarism has been done by you, Mr. White Man.
So the part I was looking for, there's another part in the video, I'm not going to have time to find it, but it says, the white man's twist is quite sinful and deadly. This is key. Why does it matter that they got it from the Egyptians? Well, it matters because you have to understand the cultures and philosophies and sentiments of the people they stole it from, and how when they twisted it, you got this abomination known as Babylon system that you have. Egypt really predates Babylon. Babylon is a mix of Egyptian and Sumerian ideas, one could argue, as well as other surrounding tribes and cultures. Okay, the amalgamation, the combination. Anyway, going on. So, I want to answer in this video, what do I fight for? What do I believe in? If you can't understand by looking at the wall, and you can't understand why I'm right about it's a bunch of whites who are Nazi sympathizers and a bunch of Jews, who started communism at the top level. And they're Zionists, they're occultists, some of them are atheistic Satanists, some are Luciferians, and what have you.
Me pointing out, the Jews were not just the victims, they are also the aggressors and the...
This is a repost, and it was reposted. It was a 2010 series, late 2010 series, reposted April 10th, 2012, Nat Turner channel.
Judases, in many cases. Countless Jews told on each other. Countless Jews played the role of overseer in the concentration camp. Countless Jews actually benefited from World War II. and then would go on to throw themselves in the pack and say, oh, we were victims too, when they sided with the scum who had brought it upon anyway.
Now, some of you might ask, well, if it's Jews doing this, why are they using Nazi tactics? They've done it before. Do you think they haven't done it before? Don't be surprised when the people who do what they do what they do. They've sold out their own people, and some of the victims of this are poor Jews, just like in Israel. Some of the protesters are Israelis who are Jews, who are being punished by these fanatic Jews, these atheistic fanatics, and these Zionist fanatics, and these secret society occultist, esoteric type fanatics.
So, psychiatry starts in Germany. It comes to America. We have people like Margaret Sanger, Francis Galton, people like this. They come out and say, not only should these mental people be thrown in asylums, they go one step further. They say these people should be gotten rid of. Remember, it's the same idea. They come to the conclusion that people who act different and become unwanted members of society should be put in asylum. All they did was go one step further and say they should be thrown in the fucking fire, when it is the sinners who should have been thrown in the fire. And history would later prove that it was the sinners, the eugenics, the scums who believed in this harmful form of psychiatry that were on the wrong side of history, not the so-called unwanted people of society. My camera constantly going out of focus. Okay. So, I have connected the Tool Society, which is the secret society that believed in eugenics prior to Hitler, and Hitler had joined them prior to rising to power. Now, I've connected the Tool Society with Margaret Sanger, 1900s, early 1900s, World War I era, etc., America. So, the term comes from these secret societies in Germany. The idea comes there. It goes back to America. Just happens to be white people that have German in them pushing the idea. So it comes back to America. Then what happens? It goes back to Nazi Germany during World War II. Then what happens? It comes back to America, Germany, and the world. The New World Order brings this Nazi, eugenic, satanic idea based on the DSM, not any book of science. The same people that would cry out on the top of their lungs, where are the sources? Are using an invalid source to perform Nazi science in America. And you think we haven't done it before? Where did the bombs come from?
All right. Let's leave it right there. Okay, this is 2013, September 24th, Robot Channel.
People in charge are Nazi sympathizers.
Why?
Because they believe in the same sentiments and philosophies that the Nazis do. Whether or not they believe in putting people in camps and killing people violently, they believe in the same philosophies and sentiments.
In the video I put, 9 million American school children are on psychiatric medications. Thousands will die from side effects or commit suicide this year. I have almost 3,000 views on this video. You know, it was suppressed, but I got it out of bed. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Anyway, going on. Now listen to this. This is Alex Jones, one of them, and I don't agree with him about everything, but he is dead on right here. Dead on. Listen carefully.
I just don't think people understand that it's not even a Nazi conspiracy. It's that it's a Nazi system of covert operations that basically was grafted in, 36,000 of them as officers, into academia, into science, into weapons manufacturing, into NASA, into everything. And that's what we see today. So, of course, we've got poison water in Flint, Michigan.
Well, it's not just here. It's in, I mean, Germany has been a vassal state of the United States.
Remember, the Flint, Michigan, the government didn't save us. It was this one, I don't know, there's different people who blew it wide open. It was individual researchers that blew this open. chemists and sociologists. They weren't working for the government. They weren't working for the city. They weren't in some major political group. They did it by themselves. The political groups didn't save us. The government didn't save us. Law enforcement didn't save us, okay, or didn't expose us. Well, they didn't save us as well, but it's a story for another day. It was these individuals. This is a fucking conspiracy. You know, it wasn't just a cover-up. It was a fucking conspiracy. They wanted it there. They said, we're not going to do anything about it because it is good for what we're trying to do. There's a difference between that and it's going to make me look bad. How bad is it going to make you look when it comes out later that you didn't do anything about it? Right. So the much more logical explanation is it is good for what the people in charge are trying to do. And it wasn't just black people in Flint, Michigan. There were white people there. There were people from Middle Eastern. There's people from all over the world.
States since World War II, and Angela Merkel is one of the...
Now listen carefully. I'm being persecuted while they're slaughtering people. What does the Quran have to say about this?
Persecution in the Quran, it says, is worse than slaughter. And you know, you talk about 1776, and you are so right. But in 1776, America had enough.
And you start to grasp what is going on here. While they're trying to, you know, people who talk about resisting oppressors who persecute people. It's key. It's a key term here. Are being demonized, whether they are white militias who are uncontrolled, whether they talk about 1776 or they're Muslims or they're Christian quote-unquote radicals or they're black militants, what have you. They're being demonized because the people in charge are fascist, Nazi-style scum. Nazi sympathizers, Nazi allies. And some of them are occultist Jews. Nazis were occultists. So there's people in the occult that sympathize with Nazis who are not Nazis. In fact, some of them are Jews, and they liked the resulting outcome. For a bunch of Zionists who want to bring Jews to Israel, do you think they're shedding a single tear for any Jew that is mistreated in America who doesn't think like they do? No tears are shed. They said, you should have came to Israel, buddy. We are soft killing these motherfuckers, buddy. You are no Jew to me, buddy, because you should have came with us. That's what they think. These Zion Nazi scumbags. Do you think they're shedding a fucking tear? For, you know, there's an old saying that people say to harass me. They say, you did something you weren't supposed to do. I don't feel sorry for you. Or the other way around. I don't feel sorry for you. You did something you weren't supposed to do. Okay, it's a bunch of occultist trash saying to their own people, I don't feel sorry for you. You did something you weren't supposed to do. So when you're eating, you and your children are eating the food that we have set aside for the Goyim, we're not shedding any tears about it. God, you know, must have made you stupid or something. This is our form of eugenics. You are a criminal and an undesirable person in our Zion Nazi eugenic fucking global order. We prefer the Goyim who are high-level Satanists to you because you didn't get with the program of Zionism. I tell you, man. Why do you think, why do you think I wear this shirt? Why do you think of Juku and people that fight back? Bob Marley, freedom fighter. We gonna fight for our rights. Liberation. Black liberation. Human liberation. Human dignity. Human decency. Christians fought and died against a genocidal government. What do you think I'm getting at here? I'm saying Christians, rise up! We are faced with spiritual war that has manifested itself on the physical terrain. Christians fought and died against a genocidal government. Christians, including Christians in my family. What do you think needs to be done here? We must fight and we must win.